Hello, my name is Ben Joyner, and in this video we will defend a law from the Old Testament. This ancient Hebrew code of life is often criticized for being immoral, unethical, and downright evil. Please understand that the Old Testament laws do not apply to Gentile Christians. Nonetheless, if these laws are really given by the true God, then they would never be evil. You can find more videos like this one on my channel, Apologetics Ben Joyner, under the playlist Defending the Bible. Provide the context in which it is just and morally correct to kill 70,000 Israelites as a punishment for the sin of a single man. 1 Chronicles 21:1. If Barack Obama sinned against God, would it be just for God to punish him by killing 70,000 Americans with a plague? The actions of powerful men always have consequences. If this were not the case, then there would be no such thing as powerful men. In this story from the Old Testament, King David orders that his army be counted. God had commanded that this must never be done and that the Hebrews were to trust God for their safety. Remember that God has made no such guarantee of safety to other nations. God chose the children of Abraham and made them a nation for a special purpose. He created the nation. But God's purpose in the existence of other nations is usually a mystery. We cannot assume that just because a nation follows God, then it will prosper, or that the nation that turns away from God will be destroyed, simply because this was how things worked for His chosen people and the nation He chose to create for a specific purpose. Now, in the case of King David, it appears that only one man opposed David's command to count his army, and so we can assume that there were many who were complacent in carrying out the king's orders. So the original question is, why would God send a plague to kill 70,000 people for the wrong actions of one man? There is a problem with how this question has been asked. The problem is that you are letting God off easy. God is supposed to be an all-powerful and all-knowing being. Therefore, God could stop all deaths with a word. The issue is not why certain children die, but rather why all children die. God is to answer for all death. Of course, this leads to a larger question of why evil is allowed to exist in the first place. So I have a few questions for the questioner. 1. If you were God, would you remove the ability of humans to freely choose to be good or bad? Is this not the only way to keep anything bad from ever happening? 2. Would you want to live in a world that was completely fair? In such a world, you would get immediately rewarded for any good deed and immediately punished for any bad deed. Would human freedom to choose to be good or evil really exist in such a world? 3. If God really is an all-powerful being, then would God's purposes be easy to understand or difficult to understand? For example, would God's purpose in when and how a person dies be easy to understand or difficult? We all die. It's just a matter of when and for what purpose. But would God's purposes be easy for us to understand? And would we humans ever have the ability to make such decisions about what God's purposes are? It seems obvious that from our perspective, we should save all children. But God would have larger plans that we cannot possibly comprehend. 4. If God were to command someone today to kill people, would it be evil for you and me to try and stop that person? What if we had no way of knowing that God commanded it? Would a just God really hold us responsible for doing the best we know how and simply not having access to the knowledge of God's thoughts? Now, I really want an answer to number 1. This is a really important question. If you were God, would you remove humans' ability to choose freely to be good or evil? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Comment and tell me what you think. Share with anyone you want. Subscribe to my channel for more. You can find out more videos defending the Old Testament law on my playlist, Defending the Bible. Also, check out other playlists such as Genesis versus Evolution, Proof God Exists, Calvinism and Predestination, and Social Commentary. Jesus loves you and makes sense too.